Dude Buddy Podcast, baby. I'm a buddy, he's a dude.
And I'm a dude and he's a buddy.
Holy shit, Danny.
We're honored today.
This is a big one.
This is a big one.
It's a big one. We got a big guest here today, ladies and gentlemen.
guest, and our first female guest.
Wow.
Rachel Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
First time you guys ever had a female
That's right.
in
It
this
is.
apartment.
Now, let me just tell you why
we
we...
got a couple females in the apartment, but never in Big Brown.
Yeah.
Big Brown.
Now,
Big Brown.
the reason we define that you're our first female guest, by the way, is that a lot of people just think this podcast is for the boys. But
Yeah.
it's not.
We'll see.
Because a dude and a buddy is not a pronoun. We're
No.
looking at this is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Okay. All right.
Like, can you hang? Are you someone people like to be around?
Oh.
Are you a friend that a shoulder to cry on? Can be a dude.
Can you get down with little altercations here and there?
Can you party?
I know you
Can you party?
I know you can.
But thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm good to be here. Look,
Yeah.
I got a monster.
Hell
I'm ready.
yeah. Because we were
Very nice.
We were looking through a list of who we could pick and who we thought was the closest thing to a dude buddy, or who would be like the most,
Dude.
the most meshable one. And we came across your name.
Closest to a
Closest
dude.
to a dude. And we
You're
came
practically a dude. I don't know what I was just saying before. We
Yeah.
got
Why
you
are we
your closest
lying?
thing.
This is for the boys.
Yeah, we brought you the closest thing to a boy that we could find, guys. Rachel Williams.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I know. I was at Atlantic City the other day at Comedy Club, and the manager was like, "Let's be honest, boys. Rachel's tougher than all of us right now. She could probably kick the shit out of all of us." And I was like, "Just say I'm a dude. Just say, like, you know what I mean? Like when you just say I'm a bro."
Well, I mean, we're trying to honor that.
We're trying
right
to honor
now
that, yeah.
by bringing you
I like
in.
it. I like it.
And plus, he is right though. In the back of the green rooms at Williamsburg, I think you could take majority of the people, but also the ribbing's better.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of sensitive little souls there.
Oh,
and,
is there?
and
Is there?
They need to kind of get a little bit of.
Little jab.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I
you
know.
got that in you too, because when we were like a couple of weeks ago, when we decided we were going to do this podcast, and we were at a comedy club, and there was that one girl that came up and was talking to our group. And after she left, she was like, "Oh, what the fuck is with people just stopping by and having nothing to say?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm down. I like her. This is who we need."
Well, it's especially the people, like I said, these energy vampires. I can't, when I feel like you stole something from me after we spoke, I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys were great. You guys were 10 times. I turned. Remember I turned?
Yeah, you did.
I was like, nah, and I just turned my back, and you were like, yeah. I was like, was I obvious? You're like, your back was to her. I was like,
yeah, you did. But don't you find there's a plague of energy vampires in comedy?
oh,
Just in general,
1,000%.
because it's like an ego-filled fucking business. and people that
Absolutely.
need validation.
That in combination with how'd you get that? I want that. Give that to
That's
me.
the fucking worst.
Yeah, a couple where they don't even have their small subtleties, and they're like, "Hey, can I have your contacts?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Sorry, the ones in my eyes, or are you trying to look for the bookers?" And they're like, "No, I need all your contacts. Give me
They're
all
like
of
aliens.
them."
They're like, welcome.
That's kind of like
we
the
will
best
take
part
your soul.
of me and Danny being here in New York is that nobody wants what we have.
And the ones that are coming, we're like, "Actually, dude, there's nothing really we can give you."
Right,
here."
right,
Yeah,
right.
we got nothing for you.
As soon as they find you're from Canada, they're like,
Oh,
goodbye.
As soon as we say
you have
fucking
nothing.
A.
It's more of like that kind of swimming situation where you're like a lifeguard and you're saving someone from the water, and if they're thrashing around, you just got to punch them in the face and knock them out and save them. We're like that, where it's like we're floating a little bit here, and if you come within our little stream, it's kind of like, get out of here.
It's so true though that people, you'll like get something and immediately, it's never congratulations. Not never, but there's a lot of people that would just be like, how'd you get that?
Yeah.
And you're like, congratulations to me.
Do you find that do you have trouble being happy for people that you actually like, or do you root for
No.
like friends?
I'll get jealous sometimes, but that's
just being honest. Everybody.
Yeah, I get jealous sometimes, but no, I really, and if I do catch, I like punch that thing in the face.
Right.
Like when it's like
The person who got something.
you know,
you're like,
Yeah.
if I do get jealous,
Boom.
then I feel better. No, I silence that because I'm like, there's no room for that.
So, but you're aware of it then, because
Yeah.
that's something I've had to like work on, and I've talked about it with Danny before. Is like I think it's important to try to celebrate other people's wins if you
absolutely.
can, but you're fucking lying to yourself if you don't think you have to catch yourself always being like, fuck, why
yeah.
them?
it's
Why
Yes.
them?
definitely like, oh, great job, I'm happy for you, and then you put in your earbuds and then you just listen to the music.
Your affirmations.
Yeah.
You are worthy. You are kind.
Everything is going to be okay.
Everything that happens to me today is in my best interest.
Yeah, today Danny got a royalty check that was 5 times the size of mine, and I was like, "Oh, that's great for you, buddy." And then I put my headphones in and worked out really hard for the next 45
I thought you were gonna
minutes.
say like I put my head through a wall.
No, I went to the bathroom and bit down on a fucking roll of toilet paper and just screamed, and then came back out and said, "It's great, buddy."
It's true. I don't know that thing to me when that voice comes up. That's just me being like, there's not enough room, and that's just
there's lots
the bold-faced lie.
Yeah. It's like when I started comedy, there was a comedian that would always tell you, like, like us young guys are saying, well, you can either get better or you can get better. Like bitter or better.
Oh, okay. I thought you literally
It sounded the exact same, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna
you
lie.
You can fucking get better, or you can get better, bud.
I was like, I looked at you. I was like, what's it mean?
I tried playing it off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty.
You can
sure
either get better or you can get.
You know
better,
what?
right?
It's nice having you here because I'm validated knowing there's another person here that heard something insane. Because usually it's me being like, right on, Danny.
I'm like, maybe this means something. This has people say things that I'm like, totally.
It felt like it was deeper, like on a different level.
Yeah.
You get better or better. You're like, let's unpack that.
Right. I was ready. I was like, what does he mean?
Sometimes like it just happens where you think faster than you can say it.
Yeah.
And then it comes out.
Yep.
We all got it.
But you know, okay, where are you from, Rachel?
I'm not alone, right? I'm not an idiot.
No, we're all dumb.
What did the word that I say today that you were like, it's not that. Confined?
Oh, you said, yeah, you're like a friend that you can confine in. I'm like, Danny is so close, though. It's right there. He's always right there.
Yeah. I'll screw.
He just needs a little push. No, but I wanted to ask, where are you from originally?
Long Island.
Okay, so you started comedy here in New York.
Yes.
Okay, so you're used to this, like the way that
Chaos.
this scene. Yeah,
That's all I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking. It's a different beast here for sure.
I know anyone that didn't start here will be like, I don't know how you did it, and I'm like, I don't. It's like growing up in an abusive household. You're like, that's all I know. You just get hit, right? And everyone's like, no. And you're like, oh, okay. I thought you got the shit beat out of you every day. And you guys will come in and be like, you don't have to deal with this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like someone's like, what's that black eye from? Like, come on, okay. You know exactly what this is from, right?
Doorknob.
Yeah.
Rubbed Ken the wrong way last night.
Well, I guess since we were talking about growing up in an abusive household, should we do our check-in?
Let's check in. So we check in at the beginning of every episode.
Oh.
We see how we're doing this week, mentally, physically. We like to explore mental health on the Dude Buddy podcast a little bit.
Look at you breaking barriers.
Isn't that it? Isn't that it? We came here from Canada. We're like, let's do something no one's fucking done before.
Well, it actually helps us out a lot because
we talk it out.
We need to.
Yeah.
I know.
So why don't you check in, Danny, and then I'll check in. We'll go down the line.
Okay, so right now I'm feeling pretty good.
Like it sounds like he's lying to himself in front of the game. Yeah, I'm like a 10 right now. I think
everything is on all right. Nothing is on fire.
Tears
I'm
coming to your eyes.
Yeah.
All right, Danny. Why don't you dial it back 2 and try again?
That's if he has a knife to you. You're like, everything fine.
Yeah. The code is in the safe. No, I would say everything's good, man. We had our first little dinner party, so that was pretty wonderful.
That's cute.
Yeah, getting up at the stand, which was pretty sick.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I think just with the royalty deposit today, we live to pay rent another month, and I feel like there's no kind of worries. It's nice that we had people over. I'm feeling happy. We'll see how it goes after Tiny Cupboard today. It might knock.
That'll always take the wind out of you.
Yeah, it might knock it down from an 8 to a 7.3.
Which is nothing.
An 8 though?
No, I don't know. I'd say I'm hovering at a nice medium, like 7.7.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
nice.
nothing too topful and nothing too low. I'm hovering right in that sweet butter
Nothing too topful. You never want to be too topful.
Nope.
Okay, that's good. I'm a hard 2 today. No, you know what? I last week.
Solid 0.
Yeah, if you
coming in at a 0.5.
Things hover higher over here, and then it just goes
I know.
a little
That's
bit
why
down.
we started over there.
I know.
So we could just roll a marble.
I know, because I'm always like, I wanted to interrupt and be like, do you get depressed?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be some days where that door stays closed till about 10:30, and then I open it and I look at Jared and I say,
It only gets worse.
the voices are pretty loud today, Jared. We should go to the gym.
Nothing like waking up when you're sad and looking directly into a rain cloud.
Yes. Yeah.
No, but okay, so I was doing okay this week actually because I had a heavy drinking weekend last week, and I said I was going to take the week off from alcohol, and I was going to reset, and I was going to go to the gym every day, and I was going to eat clean, start reading my fucking book, and I've been doing it. I mean, it's a
nice.
quit
Quit
vaping
smoking.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but
No, I heard it works really well.
apparently it does. So we'll see.
Let's
I'll let you know.
smoke till
The
the
best
page
part,
is done.
the best part is that right out of the gate, it tells you don't try to quit now. Smoke until you're done the book. So I'm just gonna read a page a day for the next 3 years. Yeah. But I've been doing what I said. So we haven't had a drink since the gathering. Been eating well. Been going to the gym. Feeling better. That's got me up to a good 6.8.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Today I took a little bump, but.
Because the royalty check.
No, it wasn't actually that. No, I was already like feeling a certain way today. But I think I'm doing all right. I think I'm doing good. I'll never be, you should know with me and Danny, there's always going to be anywhere between 1.5 and 2 point discrepancy. And Danny's always on the higher end
Yeah, I
of
can
that.
see that.
So,
there's a lot to be like kind of happy about.
I know. It's
yeah,
insane.
which is great.
know?
And look at that psychotic, look at those dinner plate
Golden
eyes.
retriever. It's
Yeah, I
everything.
am.
Like,
I just enjoy it, and I think it's funny. But it's also like your problems aren't as like. Sometimes you're like.
Well, no, you're on a rock. You're hurling through space. We know the whole thing, but it's still like right
No,
here,
your
right
problems
now.
aren't as like.
No,
crazy
my problems
as you
aren't that.
think.
No, they're not that bad. I don't think.
Oh, also and I'm often miserable. When I'm able to like really, it's like misery is just, it's seriously narcissism. You're just wallowing
Yeah.
in your own
Yep.
shit, and you're like, whereas like you step out and you're like, whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that thing.
Yeah.
As soon as something actually bad happens in your life,
Right.
like, wow, I wish I could go back to what my life was
Oh, yeah.
yesterday,
Yep.
right? And it's actually fine. Okay, you
Yep.
go ahead. Let's hear from you, Rachel. This sounds like it's
Okay,
gonna be
so I
fucking
would
really
say-
peachy.
Right before this, I almost drove into traffic. No, let's see. I would say I'm at a solid 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I give myself a 6.
And is that good for you?
I don't think yeah. I compartmentalize though.
Yeah.
Like there's some things in my personal life that are at a like a -7, but you know,
Yeah.
but then you're like, but this is going well and this is going well and that's good. And so I would say I'm a 6 when all is said and done. Like,
Okay.
you know, you're like, that's a 20, that's a -5. And then, so now we're at a 6.
A lot of negatives. So are you? No, but 6 sounds good then. If you got a -20 on there, something has to be really high to bring you up to a 6.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there something going well?
I'd say comedy's going well.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say from the outside looking in, comedy's going very well for you.
Thanks.
So what is that like a 6? Is that a normal? Is that where you like to find
yeah.
yourself?
I'll tell you one thing though.
Is that a medicated
I am,
6 right there?
Oh yeah, always medicated.
Because sometimes you come,
Oh,
you come
wait.
to
Pillbox
Williamsburg-
6,
Yeah,
huh?
wait. Yeah, I was wondering, do Canadians not take prescription drugs?
Oh, they sure do.
No, they
You guys
sure
take
do.
antidepressants?
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah?
not.
Yeah, we don't.
I know,
don't.
of course not. See,
No.
you two, well,
No.
we're
Yeah,
not gay.
not for fucking
I,
pussies.
Yeah,
I forgot we
exactly.
had a
Yeah,
chick
yeah.
on the fucking podcast today. Holy shit!
No, I mean
No,
sometimes
little
you just.
bitch.
Yeah.
But to each their own. That happens to me all the time. I talk about antidepressants on stage, and someone would be like, "Woo!" and I'm like, "Oh, do you take them?" And they're like, "God, no." And I'm like, "Okay."
You take them on
but-
stage? So
Talk
when you're
about it
like,
on
yo, give me
stage.
the light. They're like, what time do you want it? You're like, I need it at 6:30.
That's when I take my Prozac.
To take the
Yeah,
medication.
Yeah.
It's like my birth control, but actually it's my antidepressants. I would say I hover in negativity. Like
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I'm going to see negativity. I was talking about this in therapy today because it's like, in my mind, it's like if I don't stay like as long as I stay in negativity, then nothing can really bring me down.
Right.
Does that make sense? That's
Okay.
where my brain
Yeah.
goes. Whereas if I start like being like everything's great,
Is that like-
then it's like I'm gonna fall far.
Is it kind of like hope for the best, expect the worst?
Yep, that's how I
sort
was
of thing?
raised.
Right? Okay.
Literally raised to be like, what's the worst case scenario?
Right on.
And I was
So
like,
then
okay.
do you use that like your negative, like the negative space as a coping mechanism?
Yep,
Then.
yep. It's not great. I don't want to.
Yeah, but like how to raise a comedian. I mean,
But it's
that's
like
how
my
you do
little
it.
security blanket.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And do you find comedy to be therapeutic?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
I also find it as an addiction. Like I was
Same.
talking about this
Yeah.
yesterday. It's gotten to the point now where if I'm not getting on stage, it's like,
So
that's not good either.
I agree. See, sometimes I don't notice that because I've been fortunate enough. I've started getting on stage a lot here in the last few months, which I think has been pretty quick for like getting here, and I've been
Yay.
fortunate to get spots. And then I think this week I haven't really had spots, and I think Danny pointed it out earlier. I don't even think of that, but then all of a sudden when my mood's like down and
yeah.
stuff, I realize like, oh, you haven't been on stage in a few days, and it really does fucking affect
you
me.
get clunky and you get that you don't have that
Because you
dopamine
can be
release.
fucking crazy on stage. Like you can really say shit.
I know.
And really put it out there and let other people take your shit for a second. And you're taking their like you're trying. It's a whole
Right,
different
right.
pull,
Because
right?
neither of you, I don't consider you two takers on stage. You're not like, you guys make me fucking happy.
Right.
But it's it's I
It
don't
is
know.
like a release, though. It's
Yeah.
like a safe space for me to paramorph into some kind of being.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, like the little cat thing. Like
Were
I
you
can't.
there that night? He wasn't there that night,
No,
right?
Oh, yeah, no, I was.
Oh, you were, right?
Where he was on his knees and he's
Yeah.
like, it's like I'm in the red light district. I'll suck your cock. Because there's a guy looking in the window.
Guys are looking
That
out the
was-
window.
That was great.
Just incredible because that crowd was so awful.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
needed
they
that.
sucked. It was like
They
Yeah.
were like, no.
I can only like when
They
I do
needed it.
those things, it's like at a point of desperation, like a gator going in a death roll, or like
yeah, that's what it
something
was.
like
Yeah.
spazzing out, trying to escape a snare.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it was like to me, I'm like I almost need the stage in an aspect where I have to have that like vein or that avenue where I can release that.
Sure.
Or else I'm just doing it in this hallway, or
Right.
I'm like in the middle of the street.
Like,
And
yeah.
it's such a pleasure. Like if you're another comic and the crowd doesn't bite and they actually just get confused, they're like, that was insane. It's so much funnier for the comic
Oh,
every
yeah.
time, right? Because
Oh,
we
yeah.
watch it and we're like, he's really committing to this. He's putting it all out on the line. And someone just got up to get a drink because they're actually uncomfortable right now.
It's
But I got that one lady to cry and like spin it, but it was like
great.
sometimes there's like what the fuck is going on where it's like, okay, you're not here for the jokes, you're not here for something,
Right.
you're here for like a fucking synaptic break or like
It's
like,
true.
what-
Sometimes the crowds, that's what they want. They
Yeah.
want to break someone.
like
Yep.
just to see someone snap.
Yeah. And that's why I often, there's always one comic that's like, all right, and you didn't bully, but in a way you bullied, if that makes sense. You were like, it's like you just shook their energy up. It's like you have to bully the shit out
Yeah.
of them to open up because you're like, get over yourself.
like you got to
Yeah,
flex
yeah,
on
true.
them a
Right.
little bit where you're
True.
like,
Right, you're like,
fuck
get
you guys.
open the uncross
Yeah.
your arm. That one lady that you made that, I'm like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
She was the one that gave me a no. And I
But
was
then
like,
it's also you have to understand that if you can change like a body language from like this to like, okay, open, then
Yes.
it's like that huge thing for that, like maybe not what we wanted, but for them, that was a huge
that's
break.
them cackling.
Yeah. for
I
them
tend to
be
watch
like,
a lot of
"Oh."
arms go the other way. Just fucking fold in.
like
People want to
this. Yeah,
protect
yeah, yeah.
It's like every time I
themselves.
get on stage, everyone just kind of
Yeah, everyone gets
concaves.
Smaller.
I like
Like
the
the
back and
crowd's the
forth,
same
like-
size, but they shrink.
It's only 7 minutes.
Everyone-
It's going to be over in 7
everyone
minutes.
leaves the room.
But there is that thing in comedy because nobody likes the comic that always blames the fucking. You know when somebody's like, "Yeah, the crowd sucked," or "The crowd was sensitive tonight." You're like, "You suck, dude."
Yeah.
But then there's
Yeah.
like sometimes sometimes a crowd fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And you do have to break through that.
Yeah.
And you have to like, and sometimes you're just like accept it somewhat when you're up there. Like this just isn't going to be it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to dig right in and you have like a breakthrough with everybody, and it's like
Right.
that's the best.
Yes.
Right.
I do think, it's like I often, because I've seen it so many times now where it's like the crowd just sucks. And then someone cracks them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just, I think people get really angry when the crowd makes you work for it, which I do too. I'm like, you fuckers,
Right.
Like, stop being
Like,
like,
who the
this,
fuck
like
are you?
closed off, like no, making work for it. You're like, oh god, but usually someone cracks them open.
Yeah.
But it's also like that thing where it's like you can't open up the pickle jar or the sauerkraut jar, and you're just trying to open it, and then finally you pass it to
Yes.
somebody, and they've had it like
Right.
They may not be the strongest or
Right.
whatever,
Well,
but in
maybe
the
they had to
past
put an
3
elastic
comics-
around the top. Try
Right.
something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Try something
Hit
you
it on
weren't
the
doing
one-
with the pickle jar.
Yeah,
Tap
yeah.
the bottom with a knife.
Yeah.
You know
The
what I
one
mean?
person that comes over flips it and
Yeah.
then turns it.
Well,
That's,
That's the
what
same-
that's what you did that night. You flipped it over.
Is that the same as
Right.
playing a slot machine too? You watch the person lose for like 5 hours, then you
Oh.
sit down, and you fucking ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding ding ding.
Jackpot, baby!
But
I'm
then-
better than
Yeah.
everybody.
But there's also that version where you're watching just every comic just shovel shit, and then you're always in the back room being like, "It's gonna be me. I'm gonna break them wide open." And then
That's
you get
the
off stage,
best.
you're like, "Know what you're talking about?"
Yeah, no,
It's
that's
like,
the
yeah, it didn't
best.
work out.
Yeah, like you're the person that's trying to break through the door.
Yeah.
You do that big running one and dislocate your
Yeah, you
shoulder.
break your
Yeah.
fucking arm.
Yeah.
If I ever go up with that, I got it. I'm gonna bomb. But if I go up with a little anger, then it's usually because it happened in
Yeah.
Atlantic City. That it was like nothing. No, and I went up there and I was like, "What's going on? Like what happened?" I'm wearing sweatpants, so I hope you guys are happy. And it's just like sometimes you just gotta be detached from them. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're so miserable.
And not even blaming the audience sometimes, but still
Right.
pointing out to them, being like, "What is going on here?
Right.
We are at a comedy show.
Right,
You guys
right.
are clearly unhappy, but guess what? So am I.
Right,
So
right,
let's
right.
fucking do this."
No, yeah, I think I was like, I have nothing to live for, so this
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
See, that's you start getting laughs because they're like, "Oh, you just leave them with an idle threat of like,
Right.
I could kill myself tonight if you guys don't give me a couple
Right,
pops."
right.
You know what I mean,
I already planned on
Couple
it,
pops.
so
You're
this
but- yeah.
doesn't really
You're
matter.
gaslighting them into laughing
Right.
for you.
Yeah,
You are the gun on the coffee table right now.
But I do see that often. It's you guys suck. You guys suck. If they keep hearing it, they're never gonna.
No, because again, too, you don't want to blame the people. You know what the worst is when it's a light audience, right? Like, there's got like 12 people in the crowd, and there's like 30 empty seats in the comments. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, don't be mad at the ones that came, dude. These are the ones that showed up.
It's so true.
Fucking weirdos here. What do you just want to come into a dark room? And you're like, well, yeah, so you can do your job.
Yeah, sold out crowd. Don't look around.
Right.
Don't look around.
Yeah.
I always see those situations as like I try to like make them into a house party vibe. Or like a little gathering that you'd have at your house. Like, even though it's only 8 or 7 people, you're like, okay, well, let's just facilitate that same vibe.
It's like a living room.
Yeah, it is. Bring them in.
Yeah, to the rumpus room. And then after, when they suck, that's when I start to call them a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I gave it all.
Yeah, I was trying to have fun. You guys wanted to sewer it? Fuck you.
It is kind of funny, though, how certain rooms, no matter how many people, it's gonna suck.
There's certain rooms that just have a fucking we
need to burn this place to the ground.
Hanging. Yes.
Yeah, we need to
100%.
stage this place.
Clubs.
Yeah.
There's beautiful. We have a club like in Canada that's like Niagara Falls, big, beautiful club that just sucks the fucking life out of you every time. Well, that one you can kind of explain because that's kind of an Atlantic City type of place.
Okay.
Kind of touristy, kind of trashy.
Yep.
A lot of people are sitting there after they lost $50,000.
Yep.
And then you're the last fucking like line of defense.
Yeah.
But then there's other places where you just can't really figure it out. There's just a vibe.
Yeah. There's. I'm thinking of a room in New York, and it's just I'm telling you, I probably performed there like hundreds of times, and it's like I can count on like one hand the amount of times I've walked out of the room and been like, great.
Yeah.
I'll keep going.
Uh-huh.
But like.
Yeah, you gotta get your reps in.
But
because you're like, I'm gonna beat you one day.
Well, it's more just like it's now a science experiment to me. Like I'll be looking around like, what is it? I'm on stage, like not even talking, just looking around like, what is it about this room?
And you sit down in therapy the next day. She's like, did you go back to the room?
Yes.
I did.
Yes, I did.
I did 2 shows. I did 2 shows. The second one was worse than the first.
Right. Always.
Do you find sometimes like your skill sets or whatever, your little tricks that you would learn in therapy almost kind of helps you with an audience too as well to break it down?
Yeah, you ever just stop and breathe for 10 seconds and not tell a joke?
You ever say an affirmation out loud? Let's see. Has therapy definitely? Therapy has just helped me understand myself more and break certain bad habits and negative loops. So yeah, it has helped me in comedy. But I don't think I've ever brought it on stage. But I guess in a.
Well, you have. You brought your pills right up there. And you've taken that.
Well, that's different.
Forms of therapy.
Giving out.
But how long have you been in therapy for?
Oh, since I was in 8th grade.
Since 8th grade?
So you've been there for a while.
Like regularly, like every
I probably
week?
took off like, I was in until college, and then I probably took some years off. And then it was probably on and off, like not that steady until I was, again, like 25.
Yeah.
And then 25 till now, it's
male
steady.
or female therapist?
Females.
Female therapist?
Yeah, every time. I'll tell you one thing, though. I had a bad one for a while.
Yeah.
And boy, it's almost worse than having no therapist at all.
I've heard so they can really fuck you up at times, and
Which is terrifying.
I also find there's some people that are like open with their therapy and what's going on, and you're like, this sounds like they're just a cheerleader for you when they need to be stepping in and being like, hey, that's wrong.
That's what that therapist was.
Right.
It was like, it's okay.
On your side the whole time.
Yeah, and then I got a new one, and she immediately was like, well, what the?
Right.
What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you get a new like psychiatrist or like doctor, and then he sees your chart and goes, "What the fuck? Why were you on all this? Gee, who put you? What? Oh my god! This
He's
is
like,
what
no
you
wonder you're
for 6 years. What the fuck? Yeah, no wonder your brain's all
miracle
fried.
you're alive.
It's like we did like a science experiment
How's
on
your
rats.
liver?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I had a therapist one time for a little bit. This was like during COVID, so I was doing like video therapy, and it was a lady, sweet lady.
How old do you think?
In her 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, she should be in her 50s, but listen, COVID was kicking everybody's ass.
Yes.
All right, but there was something that always kind of like, for some reason, bothered
Therapists
me.
are just raking it in.
Oh yeah. Oh, and they didn't have to
the
fucking
good old
put
gold
on
rush
pants.
of mental health over in
Right.
2020.
There's certain businesses that skyrocket.
100%,
Yeah.
and that's one of them because everybody was sick and they
Yep.
didn't have to leave their home.
Yeah,
They just
exactly.
fucking
They're
boom,
like,
boom,
"But I
boom,
don't
boom,
even
boom.
gotta
Right.
The one therapist I had, she's like, yeah, we just closed down our office. We're doing everything from home.
Yeah, no
I know.
shit.
Yeah.
But this therapist, so this is something
You're
that
like,
always
"But I
kind of
wanna sit in
bothered
the
me.
chair." They're like, but we don't want that. You're like, no, but I want to see
You're
you.
like,
They're
unhealthy.
"No, dude."
No,
Like,
you can't. Well, yeah. I mean, that's another thing too. I'll tell you another one. But there was something about every time when she was talking to me, she'd like tell me something, and it was some sound advice, right, or whatever. But then she'd always just take a big swig from a bottle of pop. And I'm like, who's helping you?
No,
I'm
yeah.
like, you can't tell me
Wasn't it?
to grab life by the nuts, and you can't
Right.
stop chugging sugar in
Yeah,
front of me
yeah,
every day.
I know what you mean.
Everybody has their vices, Jared.
She's
Yeah.
like white knuckling. She's like ready to suck a dick for some pot, and you're like, what? Wait.
Yeah. I
Do
mean,
you ever
there-
make your therapist break? Like they're like, and then they have to like school their features again. You're like, fucking.
I think I made one sad, like made one maybe
That's the
like
best,
cry
though.
a bit.
No, that's the
know.
best. I
Always
mean,
make
wait,
mine
like you're
laugh.
like bullying that. You're like fuck you, or like you tell them about.
No,
your
I
life.
haven't done that where I've made them like be like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I haven't made one step back. I don't think. But,
Did you
but I'm
ever
not
like,
as seasoned as you. I haven't done.
I know, I'm like a
you're a
professional.
vet, dude.
when I had my therapist, but I would always withhold like one piece of information that I wasn't ready to like
That's
share.
such a dude thing. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but like all the advice was like basically shit that I would know. But then it was nice to have like other kind of like little like, because when I was a kid, I had to go to this program called COPE, and it was called Children Overcoming Problems Effectively. And it was because I was a bit of like a hothead and also like a juvenile delinquent. So then
Yeah.
they would basically like, they would give you like tasks to help you with like your ADHD as well as like just staying focused. But then they would come in and then they'd do shit to set you off, or they'd fucking like
I
they'd
love
take a
that.
pen and knock it off.
How do I get that
hell.
job?
Yeah,
wanna
and they
be
would
the
do
guy
all
that
that
walks
stuff.
in and fucks with you.
And then you'd have to be like, no, okay, and then use your like exercises to like kind of
Wow.
like keep it rattled.
Like what they have you like build a popsicle stick bridge, and then a guy just comes in and steps
yeah,
on
they
it.
would have,
Right.
like, little
What
tasks,
now?
Or
Would
they
you put your kid through cope?
would I guess so, yeah. But like to
Okay,
me,
so it wasn't like
no,
traumatic.
it was like good, but to me it was almost like traumatic in a sense where it was like because I had to like go there after school and certain things, but it was like court ordered issued from like the Edmonton Public School Board where if I wanted to stay in public school, then I had to take these out of school programs. And then so I would do it, but it would be like, oh man, like all my friends would be having fun, or I'd be at like gatherings, like family gatherings, and then they'd be like, okay, well we got to take Daniel off to his course.
Oh, now that's awful.
Yeah, and then and then I'd have to like go away. But then the thing
yeah.
was, I knew like I wasn't. I was in these classes with like these actual kids that were like rage cages
Right.
and like were there like pulling pens on their teachers trying to stab them, and I was just there because I thought it'd be funny to eat paper when my
It's like-
So
when my
true
teacher told
though.
me not
In
to eat
these
paper.
programs, I never thought about that. There's the one that's like just bad enough to go in, and then there's the kid that's like,
Like,
I wrote a
needs it.
manifesto.
It's like getting
today.
sent to
Yeah.
prison for
Oh my
having
God.
pot on you, right? It's like you go to
Yeah.
prison for pot, and now you're hanging out with murderers.
And then
It's
you're like,
ah.
But
Yeah.
then it was also funny though too, because where if you had like if you did all your program and you did all your homework and you like focused on like the tasks that they gave you these gold stars, and then once you had
Nice.
enough stars, you could trade it in for like goodies or
Oh, very
candies
nice.
or things, and then everybody was like, "Why are you? How are you getting all these stars, man?" I'm like, "It's not that difficult, dude. It's just you don't rage and call."
He's
them
like,
a
you don't
cunt."
kill your cat.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so easy.
You have enough gold stars for a popsicle, and then
Yeah.
right as you go to lick it, slaps it out of your hand. What do you do now, Danny?
Daniel. Yeah, but like, because that's why another thing I wanted to bring you on is because you tell all the stories of when you were a kid and like going through
Oh.
like school and all that
Yeah.
shit too. Where I'm like, I resonated with it. Where I'm like, yeah.
Well, two things. First of all, I think we should put you back in cope because you've never lit up more than talking about cope. Let's start there.
It was the
You were
Aruba
like, I got
tips,
these.
actually.
You're like, I got these gold stars, and then so I think we should put you back in. Secondly,
That's why I always like it when people are like, good job, man. That was really
We
great.
could start a little program.
that.
We could
Yeah,
start
yeah.
one
Yeah.
in the house here. I could get some magnets and start giving you little stars on
Yeah.
the fridge.
Yeah, you could.
That'd be nice.
And then I'll take yours down when you're a miserable prick.
Yeah.
it's by like the 2 hours in one day, your stars are gone.
Well, he comes in and he always sages my when I smell that in my room.
You
I
sage
always
his room.
I
he
saged the
sages
whole
my
house.
room, and I know that I've rubbed him the wrong way that
and we
day.
and we had a super day, dude, where both of us were like down and out. I was below like a 6, so I was hovering around like a low 5, maybe even a high 4. He was the same
Good
thing.
day for me.
Yeah,
I know, I
and
was
then
about
we
to
were
say.
like just miserable, and like we'd be passing going and then we'd be
size.
like, yeah, and then we'd hear it from other rooms, like the little geysers would just be like, ah!
It's like a pressure valve. Yeah.
and then
Shower
we'd, like,
screams.
Yeah, shower, and then things. So I'm like, you know what, man, I got to bring out the heavy guns. So then I brought out the Sage bundle and the Palo Santo, and then just fucking
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo.
and then
Say
just-
it right.
oh, yeah.
Santo.
Santo.
And then we
Milan.
had it where we were like doing full sages, and then it was good, man. It was a nice little thing. But yeah, I'll sage.
You sage or your girl taught you to sage?
My girlfriend doesn't even like when I do that. She thinks I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, she's like, you witch.
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck? Like, I get my cards read regularly whenever I
Do you?
Yeah, whenever I need like things.
Danny's all into that stuff.
Danny.
Like the sky charts.
Salem
all that-
witch trial
yeah,
over
all that-
here.
all
But
that
somehow
stuff.
it's still me telling you when the moon is full. So I don't know where you draw the line.
Whoa.
I'll tell you though, you can tell when the moon is.
I'm a moon guy,
Oh.
but not on like reading the moon or like being in touch with it.
No,
I
no,
just,
no.
I
He
love
just like staring at.
Yeah, I love outer space, and I think the full moon is a cool moon.
But
Yeah.
do you notice behavior differences?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know what? And then we're gonna get back because we asked you a question and stepped on it. But
forgot.
my dad was a cop when I was growing up,
Oh.
and he said that there was always distinct changes in the shit that they dealt with on full moons.
Oh, yeah.
It was a real thing.
I think my
Said the crime-
psychiatrist was like, no, they teach us, a psychiatrist, not
Yeah.
that like, because it's like connected to the tides.
Yeah.
And then
Is
we're
this
made of water. He's like, no,
Yeah.
it is taught like this affects people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's when I was like, whoa, this is
And we had a full
actually.
moon the other night.
But
so
then
we're-
people take it too far. And
What
they're
were
like, I'm
we-
a Pisces.
What were you
It's
saying though?
great.
He asked you about your childhood. So what was your?
But when you said you talked about we gotta take Danny to his program. I know what you're talking about. I always had some sort of resource that I had to go to. Like we gotta go to what's
Did
it called
they
here?
try
It's
and
like Kuman.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
the
it's-
learning strategy.
yeah.
And reading one.
Oh yeah, I always needed like a third party to intervene because they were like, she's not gonna get through this school.
Do you have a temper?
Yeah, but I
Did your
think I was just
parents
really
ever-
hyper.
Right.
Did your parents ever like they not really like it was always kind of a mysterious thing wherever you had to go? My parents would do that.
Oh, they like hide it.
yeah, sort of.
Blindfold you?
Yeah. Yeah. Not to like me. It wasn't like a bait
They kind of like
switch,
sort
but
of
it-
maybe drugged me, and then
Yeah. Put
yeah,
your nose
like,
on a
oh,
baseball
yeah.
bat and spin you around 6 times.
They'd
and then
say,
walk you
"Oh
in.
no, it's an extracurricular thing with his school for like helping kids." Like,
Yeah.
Smart kids,
Yeah.
Danny.
I'm trying to think. No, I think it was just my mom was pretty like, you're going to this, and I was like, okay. But and also, oh my god, because when you have ADD, you're forgetful. So then I would always forget to go to the nurse to take my Ritalin during the day. So then I'd be in class and they'd be like, Rachel, report to the nurse's office.
Great.
And that was always like,
Yeah, we had to
Uh-huh.
do a lineup like because I had to go to these programs. And then they said I had to be on Ritalin
Oh, yeah.
to do it. My mom's like, you're going to have to do it, Daniel. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's killing my spirit. My dad's like, put him on the drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, but we'd have to line up. We would get released 10 minutes earlier.
how old were you? Sorry.
I was in they made me take Ritalin in grade 5
Yeah.
through halfway through grade 7. I stopped, and then but like 5 and 6, I had to go to like this special school. It was called Academy at King Edwards, and it was a
Very nice.
It was a kindergarten through grade 12, and the high school kids were upstairs, and you can never go upstairs. So I always thought they were like
Oh, special.
like Quasimodos, and then. But we'd have to release 10 minutes or 10
They're
minutes.
the ones ringing the bell.
Yeah. 10 minutes early, and then we'd have to go and do like a tongue thing to make sure that we took it and shit.
Oh, thank
I was
God
like,
that
what
was
the
for
hell?
medication. I
I was
thought
like,
that
what
was
the
something
fuck?
else.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
so confused for a
You
second.
know,
I was
and,
like,
and then you'd have to take it, and then some of the kids would like release and run, and then they'd have to fucking catch them and then give them their meds and shit.
it's like feral animals. We
Yeah.
like
So do you have ADD or ADHD?
ADHD.
ADHD.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I recently started taking Adderall again, and it's helped a lot. But I'm with you. It's like too much, it'll change your whole personality. But if you really need it, it's like I was walking. You ever see someone walk around the gym and they don't know what the hell they're doing, so they're just walking around,
All the
Yeah.
time.
like just looking,
Working
and they're
at
like,
Blink
I got
Fitness.
nothing. I don't know. That's how you
Walking on
feel
the
when you're
treadmill.
not
Right.
like have anything to help
Did
you.
it affect your creativity then?
No,
at
not
times?
yet.
No.
No, yeah. So that's been good. I think I'm on enough to see a difference, but I could probably be put on more, but I don't want to because I'm afraid it will
Right.
be. Then you're just a robot.
Yeah.
You're
Dampen
like,
you.
I wake up, I do my routine, and I don't want that either.
Right.
But it's also, I find that like the attention deficit or whatever is almost like a superpower too in an aspect
Yeah.
where it's just like you want to have a little bit of that because
Yes.
then you could fucking.
Well, I think everybody
Nice.
does have
Yeah.
a little bit of something,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's why now we're in the age of just the overdiagnosis, where they're like, I don't think I think every kid has maybe to a degree some ADD, some ADHD,
Yes.
Some
It's a spectrum.
autism,
Yes.
right? But I don't think they all need to be medicated,
Right.
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 So
or
there's
like to have an
everything-
intervention.
Yeah.
And everything comes so quick too, where now it's just like if something's past like a 5-minute mark, like it has to be engaging.
Right.
Like all the teachings and all the learnings, like it has
we're
to have
conditioning the
something.
brain now to only be able to pay attention for 30 seconds at a time.
I know.
Right.
I know.
Which isn't good for stand-up comedy, but now that's why I guess. I mean, I think this will pass too, but crowd work clips are the thing that's going to go away but people have to start. People don't want to sit through a 2-minute story anymore on social media.
I know. I don't.
No, none of us do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sit through 2 minutes of any comedian doing anything anymore.
I know. But that's also where like
Jaded.
I like
it's
going in
even
and
more
seeing
than that. It's like
some.
where it's our whole life.
It's true.
It's our whole life.
What's your release like? What do you like watch at home? How do you get away from comedy?
Criminal Minds.
Me too.
You're a
Yeah.
true
Are you big
crime
true?
guy?
Are you true crime?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God.
That's the only thing. I need to see some fucking crazy shit.
I
to
fall asleep to true
unlock
crime
my
every
mind.
night.
Oh, you fall asleep to
Every
it?
night.
You're unhinged.
They say it's a huge red flag. Huge red flag. It's the only way I can fall asleep.
like you need it on while you're sleeping.
Well, I set a timer.
Okay.
I set an hour timer right when I know things are
But
going to
it's
happen.
Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds, like specifically,
Yeah.
like the show.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, what is it?
I'm watching it. I watch
It's
like
like
I watch
Dateline.
48 Hours. I watch
Okay.
Dateline. I watch.
right.
I'm on YouTube. Like I got a whole bunch of different places that I go for it. But I'm at that point where I'll watch like one, and I'm like, I already seen them cover it on this, and I'm looking for discrepancies in how they how they covered
alright,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I'm like awake and then it's like late time and then his door's closed and then I hear like the subtle feints of like the investigators and all that. I'm like, oh, he's trying to sleep. It's like his
Yeah.
lullaby.
Yeah. Well, you're
not gonna
Baby's
get-
sleeping over
Right.
there.
Some people
Yeah.
have a sound machine. You have like, and then we found her arm.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to use the air purifier and the murder
I
to
got
go
it.
to sleep.
Yes.
Yes.
But what's Criminal Minds?
Oh, it's like SVU, Law and Order SVU.
Okay,
but
so
yeah.
it's scripted.
Yeah.
That one? Okay.
Scripted.
But it's scripted. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I do like true crime, but sometimes I find them like first 48 I find boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Sometimes
like,
they can be boring when they're
stand
talking to
up
the
point.
grandparents for too long. I don't want to
Right,
fucking
or just
hear
like
Bev
they'll be
talk.
like, and then we spent 10 days, and I'm like, no, I want to see it. I want to.
But so you like
Sometimes
the
though, Criminal Minds. I mean, I'm like, how did they ever air this? Like some of the
Right.
things are graphic up top, and then my mind always goes to like, who wrote this?
uh-huh.
Who thought of this? And
Somebody
was
who's
like,
gonna have a job for
have them-
30 years.
Yeah, have them like, yeah, it's like pour acid into her eyes. I'm like, who thought of this?
Yeah.
Sickos that want to live through it, but
Yeah.
then they do it for their TV
I
writing.
should probably start putting together a few specs for that because I've got just a
There you go.
well.
Do you ever like with like the real ones where they're like, yeah, and they videotaped it and made the documents of it? Do you ever like find the tapes online?
I go, don't blur it.
That's
Don't
what I
blur
do
it.
when I was
That's
Can you
what I'll
imagine if
yell.
all of us were like, no,
Yeah,
you're
that's what I do when they were
Yeah,
like,
what?
when, don't fuck with cats, and then I was like,
Oh,
I
yes.
gotta see it.
The
And then
sleuths.
and then I
That
looked
guy
up,
was
Yes.
local for us.
looked up the
No.
Yeah, it
videos
was.
and everything. Yeah, that was a Toronto guy.
And you know in that documentary, the guy keeps saying Etobicoke? A place is called
I haven't seen it.
Etobicoke.
Tobacco.
Oh,
Okay.
You know, JJ knew him too.
of course.
Yeah, he did.
The one that
Yeah,
fucked
that-
with cats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, he
no.
cut cats' heads off. JJ used to sleep in a bed with them
Okay.
when they were kids.
Okay.
I'll tell you
Wow.
something.
Yeah. What was that? Wow. That came out during the pandemic. So it was a guy went on YouTube and killed cats.
Well, that's how it started. He ended up
Tortured
killing
them?
humans. Like, that's just he was on YouTube. He was making videos of himself torturing cats and everything.
Oh.
But eventually, he had bodies like body parts of people buried around. Luca Magnotta. was
He,
his name.
he
remember that
invited a
part.
guy over that they met up on the internet, and then he got him drunk, drugged him, and then stabbed him several times, like a whole bunch.
Passion kill.
Stabbing.
Yeah,
That's
stabbed
not
stabbed
stabbing.
him.
No,
yeah,
you're jerking
That's
him
not
off. He also
stabbing.
did that though
Yeah,
first,
he
I
did
think.
that.
I
he
hear.
did a little bit. No, he a little
I'm
up
like,
top,
that's
little
not.
down low.
That's not
The old-
stabbing.
Yeah, but then he
Stab and tug.
But then he chops off his legs, and then he has sex with the corpse, and then he like does it with the wine bottle, and then he brings him over into the bathtub, and then he cuts off his arms, legs, heads, and puts it in a suitcase.
And he might have eaten. I don't know. I don't think he cannibalized them. You're a
Tried it.
vegan, right? Let's change the subject.
my
You're
God.
a vegan.
Tried
How
a
long
little
have you
bit
been a
of it.
vegan
Cut
for?
his
There we
ass
go. It's
cheek.
coming out. It's
Cut his
coming
ass
out.
cheek and
Yeah.
stuff.
Coming out of the closet for being a vegan. I hope you're happy.
Oh, is it? Wait, is that not public?
No, I don't make it because that's the whole thing. Because
Do you
what
want us
comes to your
do you want us
mind?
to cut that?
No. I
Yeah,
don't care.
should we
I don't
cut
care.
it?
No.
I liked it though because I brought treats when I first met you in the back room, and you're like, oh, is that good? Because I got animal. I'm like, just shut up and fucking eat
Yeah,
it.
no, no sweets. I break my veganism.
Yeah. You're like, is there butter? I'm vegan. I'm like, what do you mean? Is there butter? It's a pecan pie.
Right,
Of course
yeah.
there's
Oh
butter
my god, that
in
was
it.
so good. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah. Oh, that's when we made fun of Danny because Danny is all Mr. Strict until
Right.
he's not, and then he's like, "Everyone fall off the wagon with me."
Oh,
And
has
we're
to.
like,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
will say when you were like, oh, you're pretty, sorry to cut you off again. It was that one night where on the Wednesday after, and you're like, oh, you're really, what was the word?
There's into deprivation.
Deprivation. Yeah, deprivation
Yeah,
yourself.
yes.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
you
we
pointed
There's
went
always something that you're like, I've given this
It's
up.
true.
And I'm like, why? And you're like, because I have to.
No,
and I'm
but
like,
then the funny part was after I had that all in my head when we went home, you're like, you're depriving yourself. Well, you really like you're sick. Oh, you're depriving yourself. And then
He went and got fucking loaded.
Yeah, and then I went and got a fucking King can. And I walked out and went, and then Jared smiled at me. I said, yeah, I was like, I'm not depriving myself till next Sunday. Then just
And then he went on a bender and almost died.
Then I did heroin. I'm like, oh, okay.
No,
But you don't have to talk about being a vegan.
Oh, I don't care.
I was just wondering what inspired it.
I think what inspired, I had a lot of health issues. I was like, my thyroid was fucked up. My adrenals were fucked up. I felt like shit all the time. So I cut a bunch of shit out of my diet. And it was just basically, it was for a while just like chicken and veggies. And then I realized like I didn't like chicken anymore.
Yeah.
I was not enjoying it. So I was like, why am I shoving this in myself? And so then I just went to veggies, and then it just kind of stayed there. And now the idea of eating red meat grosses me out. Eating any meat grosses me out.
I think that's what happens to a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? Once they,
I wish I could say I was a better person. I was like, it's for the animals.
It's not. It's for you.
It's not. Yeah, it's for me. It's a very boring story. I just didn't like, I don't like the taste of meat, and dairy felt awful in me.
Yeah.
Awful. And so I just cut it all out. But now if like, every so often like PETA will come up on my Instagram and I'm like, yeah, don't kill a chicken.
Yeah.
Like that'll come because
Right.
they show the most horrific thing. They're
Are you
like,
okay
this,
with eating like an egg though?
nah, that grosses me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, too, is I think I'm one of those people. I love eating meat, but I think if you show me enough of like what's actually happening to it, it would
Yeah.
also gross me out. Like I think
Yeah.
that it is fucking gross, what a lot of it. And then some. I've even had times where I thought too hard about what I was eating while I was chewing it, and it was like, oh,
All right.
do I
Yeah.
like a big fat rare steak?
Muscle,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, this is a little fucked up.
I know. It's like I'm very easily skeeved, which is so lame, but it's true. So
What's skeeved mean?
like grossed out.
Oh, okay.
So if like I see a vein or like something that reminds me of blood, I'm like, huh,
Right.
get it out of here. Or like skin, people will be like, oh, the skin of a chicken. I'm like, ah, ah. So
Turkey skin's very
but
good,
I don't, but I keep it to myself because when you hear vegan, you hear, you know what I mean? Which I get because
yeah.
every vegan is like
Self-righteous?
do you know what you're doing?
I do like
And you're like, oh, okay. To me, that's just pushing your religion on someone, and then they're really not going to want to do it.
It is. It makes
Yeah.
people go the other way.
Right.
Like, fuck vegans. There's
Right.
no way that I'll start eating meat just to defy that asshole
right.
that I met. I
Yes.
want to send a picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are like those are one of my go-to videos I like watching is when like vegans kind of like protest like a butcher shop, and then Buddy just comes out and just starts eating like a steak in front of him, or he'll just be like gnawing on a drumstick, being like, "What's going on here?" And they're like, "This guy,
Yeah.
meat is murder." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man, fuck those people, they suck
Yes.
that," and then
It's
they
the
catch
best.
on that he's like eating a turkey leg. They're like, "Get out of here!"
That is really funny. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Yeah, also, the only thing that freaks me out about veganism is anyone that I see that's like, I've been a vegan for 40 years. They look like shit.
They look like they've been a vegan
Yeah.
for 40 years.
Yeah, they look
they
like
need some
shit.
fucking
the
iron.
healthiest people look like they're dying.
Oh, it's
Sometimes
true.
it's like those people where they're like where they don't do drugs anymore, but then they're just fitness junkies, and then their face even looks more hollow.
Oh.
And they're like, yeah, life is great, everything is good, and you should do it. And
Yeah,
you're
they're like,
"No,
I
don't."
gave up heroin for 150 pull-ups a day, and you're like, your eyes, you haven't.
That's
blinked.
like
Yeah, you
somebody
haven't-
who loses a ton of weight, where it's like, I'm so happy that you lost weight because I couldn't eat in front of you if I wanted to right now with your sunken jowls.
Oh,
Hey,
it's-
listen, though, congratulations,
Oh,
but you
it's-
look like hell.
Or when they lose all the weight, and then they like go to give you a high five, and then it's just
That gets her going skeeving.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah,
skeeving.
no, it's the skin. But yeah, I don't. That's the only thing that freaks me out because I'm vain. So I'm like, well, I don't want to look like, homie in Whole Foods. That's like, I've been a vegan for 40 years, and you're like, you
Right.
look dead.
So yeah, that's the thing. Do you do like the like plant-based burgers and like all that?
And that's
shit?
the other thing. So then I go, I don't believe necessarily the way I do it is vegan is healthier. I'm sure there are ways to be super healthy, but like I'm doing the plant protein.
Yeah.
I'm doing tofu. I'm doing Beyond Meat sometimes. So it's like, it's chemical.
But it's
I will
chemicals,
say
but you need I think the thing that is important is the protein. Like,
Yes.
You have to get protein
for a
somewhere.
while. So then, so when I first became a vegan, it was
Bones.
like all carbs. And so I gained like 40 pounds immediately. And I had no
Just
energy.
nothing but potatoes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I love that, the
started,
potato comic.
I went all the way to protein, and it was like I cut weight
Came
so
off
fast.
right away.
Yeah.
Might be a hot topic though, and something to say, but I think sometimes a veggie burger slaps more than a real
Fuck
burger.
that,
Well, you'll
dude.
have me on
I ate
that.
somebody brought veggie burgers and veggie dogs
Like
to
a
a
nice
barbecue a
black
few
bean
weeks ago. It
burgers
was
is great.
fucking awful. It's like you know
That's
what it
also
is?
my favorite because my mom will do this. She'll be like, "It's nothing like, it's not as good," and I'm like, "Of course, it's not as good." Like,
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
think
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Can't
bringing
be.
cauliflower wings, being like, tastes like chicken? Like,
now
that's
hold
not,
on though. You fucking give me buffalo cauliflower is so good. That's a bad
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, but like
That's
if
real
someone was
good.
like, "It's just
Yeah.
like chicken," you'd be like,
Yeah, fuck you.
"Yeah, right."
And that's part of why people hate vegans.
Right.
Is when they're
They're
like, yeah,
it's the same. You're like, okay,
it's not the fucking
Yeah.
same. This
you're like,
is a
this-
sock.
right.
Yeah. I like
This is a sock.
Yeah.
I went because sometimes in the depriving part, I would cut out meat for like a week.
Here we
and then
go.
just go veggie or whatever, just for the heck of it. Because my uncle was vegetarian, but he would just not eat anything with the face. So he would eat eggs.
Okay.
And then my one buddy was a big veggie guy, so I was like, oh whatever, I'll just like try it a week in his life, right? And then I tried the Ives hot dogs, the fake hot dogs, the tofu Ives hot dogs.
Hot
The worst
dog.
piece of shit I've ever ate.
Oh, that
They were so
sounds-
disgusting.
Rubber.
There's a lot of
No, they
trial
were just
and
like
error.
it was like you were eating
Oh.
basically like a puree of cardboard.
And that's what
There
scares
is a
me.
lot
though.
of
well, there,
fake.
You mean there's
Ooh.
trial
But
and
the
error in like
burgers were-
trying the food?
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's also trial and error in how they put this shit together.
Oh, that's true.
Right? Like there's been this whole over the last like decade especially.
Yeah.
I would say there's like the Beyond Meat some of them have definitely evolved from what they were, right? Like they were atrocious. Some are
Right.
some are okay now.
The
Yeah.
chemicals you're eating are
It's just not the they come
But I
there's
haven't had
chemicals in
meat.
everything.
I haven't eaten so long that sometimes I'll be out, order Beyond, eat it, and be like, "Is this meat? I think it's meat."
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's not even. I'm scared that if I eat meat at this point,
You could die.
I'm just
Oh,
gonna
like
get. It's
massive
gonna go.
diarrhea?
It's
rip
gonna come
through
out,
me,
yeah, you're
and
gonna
I'm
be
like, I'm
inside
out on the town right now. I can't have diarrhea.
Right.
And then someone else will eat and be like, "This is the furthest thing from meat. You are so wrong." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
World collapses, right? You're in a bit of turmoil, things going wrong. You need to grab food. Would you eat meat then?
I was actually on the road recently, and I had half of a burger because I was like,
What did it
blood
do?
sugar dropped. There was nothing else. It was like the middle of nowhere. So, like getting a vegetable, they're like, what?
Oh yeah, they don't like that.
It didn't.
The only vegetable we got is Tim over there.
We got potatoes and coleslaw.
Fire
And
up
they're
one of
like,
them hay pucks. We got a queer here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, now I think of it, I didn't die.
There you go.
Got some
There you go.
acne, I
Did
think.
you?
from it.
Did it slide out of you?
It
like you
didn't.
thought?
No,
Huh.
but it was one of those smashed. So sometimes I think like they
Yeah,
just
They
if
might
it
have
was-
smashed
and they-
something else in
they
there.
cooked. No, they cooked
Yeah, if
the
it was a
bejesus
if it was
out
a
of
thicker
it.
burger,
Yeah,
you
like
would've- you
rare.
would've shit your
just,
pants.
Gotta go on stage that night. Like,
It needed,
hi
to be a,
everyone.
it needed
Yeah.
to be a smash burger. If it was anything higher than a quarter inch, you would.
I ate a bad I ate a there's like a famous sandwich place in Toronto. It's called California Sandwiches.
Okay.
And one time, and I know it was bad
They're like
because
cutlets,
I
so.
ate it, they do like veal cutlets and stuff. Veal, the little babies.
I
a
know,
lot,
I
a lot
know.
of babies.
That makes
a
me
lot
sad.
to eat the babies.
They're
Oh
all
no,
that
no.
makes me.
No,
or
I
like
like
the
it.
Wagyu beef. They're like,
Yeah.
we massage them. I'm like, they know they're
Oh,
dying.
they like that. They like
Oh,
that
they
though.
know
They like to
they're
be
dying.
massaged. It's nice. It's very nice. But I had a
haram. You
I had a
tell them
little
good things.
I had a veal sandwich, and maybe this was the Lord striking me down, but I ate it with two other comics. Three of us had it, and then we went to a show. And I know because everybody felt a little off, but I had to shit my pants 3 minutes into my set.
What'd
and
you
it's-
do?
I left the stage.
You said, I gotta go.
I literally said to them, I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to go. There's a big problem happening right now. And I ran, and the host wasn't even like there. So I just got off stage, and it was one of those, the venue was upstairs, bathrooms were downstairs, but the door was right where all the crowd was sitting. So I just went, like, I got off stage and went through the door and just ran downstairs and shit myself. And then I came up and I was like, white as a ghost. And I was like, yeah. And the other guy's like, yeah, I don't feel so hot. I'm like, well, that's great. You guys are done your set. Like, I was
Did it keep happening the whole night? Or
I
it
was
one-
sick like the rest of the
Yeah.
night. I
Could've
was
been
sick the
bad
rest of the night.
oil.
It was like food poisoning of some kind.
Right.
But I remember that moment on stage where I was, because usually that thing, like, even if you feel like shit on stage, you always feel better while you're doing comedy. Like
Yeah,
you have like a
it can-
fever or flu
right,
or something, right?
Yeah.
But
your
this was not
adrenaline
one of
will-
those times. This was
Anything
not
the
one of those.
adrenaline like electrify.
I knew it. I got like a cold
Oh
sweat. and
my
I was like, this has
God.
I have to go. There's one or two things that can happen. Yes, I run off stage and that doesn't look good. Or
You have diarrhea on
the
stage?
other thing, yeah.
No.
There's a comedian, like an old school, like 70s comic, 80s comic in Canada, and it's you know who it is, Larry Horowitz.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
He
then
poop himself?
Yeah, so what he did is he was eating too much salad.
That was his
from
closer.
too much salad from the buffet, and he was eating it, and he shit himself, and then everybody was like, it was because it was in comedy college, and he told us about it, and then
What do you mean he shit himself? Like he was sitting with you
No,
guys?
he was
on stage?
he was on stage while he was in it, and the salad ran through, and he shit himself, and then we were all like, "What did you do?" He goes, "Oh, I just took my blazer off, wrapped it around me, and finished my set."
Oh, he's a pro. He was a comedy teacher, and he's
Yeah.
like,
Could
this is what you do
never.
if you shit yourself.
Could never.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on stage? Or what's your worst hell gig?
Yeah.
Or like anything that comes to mind is like,
All right, give me a second. Let me think about it.
yeah. Take a moment. Take a moment. Let that
Worst thing that's ever
vegetable
happened to
brain
me.
fucking think right now.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not quick.
Powered
Yeah.
by carrots.
Your
Give her
broccoli
10 minutes.
brain.
Yeah, I am about to pass out. Let's see, hell gig. Probably like a backyard gig where
Ooh,
you
the
show
outdoor?
up
No
and
mic?
and I'm new, so I'm 2 years in, and they're like, you have to be clean.
Yikes.
And there's kids here, and it's outdoors, and it's in the daylight, and the microphone kind of doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, so what?
They hand you the microphone, and the kid's like the loud one where you the little
Fisher
kid-
Price mic?
the one where it
Right,
just
exactly.
echoes.
And
It's
it's
a
like
yak back.
Yeah.
You gotta talk into it and then hold it out.
And I have to do 20 minutes and
20?
clean material. Oh, got probably 4 minutes.
And what do you getting? A hot dog and a Diet Cola?
Yeah,
or-
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Marty, here's
exactly.
your Humpty Dumpty
No,
bag of
when you're
chips.
new in comedy and because all your shit is dirty when you first start.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You don't know how to work clean.
Yeah, no.
And that's a fucking corporate you just described. Like that should be something
Oh.
that you get paid fucking
Right.
$2,500 for.
I know.
And, like know you're walking into it.
I don't know if corporate, you better. I feel like everyone, even if they get paid $10K, they always are like, but I felt like shit after.
Well, yeah, it's your dirty dancing up there.
It's a
You're
soulless
prostituting
fucking.
yourself.
That's where you're literally. Yeah, you're the sad clown.
Right. And it's like for the rich.
Yeah.
Yuck.
For the
Yeah.
corporations.
They're
not
like,
even
do
their money.
something and we'll not laugh.
Have you ever done that corporate where it's like the?
No.
You've never done a corporate?
No, I can't.
Really?
I wouldn't be able to. At this point, no.
How long have you been doing comedy?
4.5.
4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
You'll
I
do
just.
one when
You'll
they-
get
when
a
they-
corporate
when they
under your belt when they
hang the carrot over your head and go $2,500.
But here's the thing.
And it's
they're
an
gonna be-
actual
they're gonna
carrot
say-
just with
They're gonna say
$1,000 bucks
clean.
attached
Yeah,
to it?
right. Exactly. It's just a carrot. Yay! As long as it's vegan. Clean. I'm gonna slip a fuck in there. It's gonna happen.
You can though if they like you, you can get away with it. You can get away with it.
Yeah,
you just
you
can't
can-
go up there and start miming.
Unless
sucking
That
it's
a
doesn't
cock.
bother
specifically
me
in the
because every
contract.
time it's like what's clean, and there's always different ideas
There's
of
a
what clean
spectrum.
is. You've done a lot of corporate?
Well, in Canada, yeah, because you can get a lot of like
It's
work
like
for
your
a-
money making season.
Yeah, we work
from
for
like October all the way to even to February.
Yeah, between like the Christmas season,
Mm-hmm.
you can make a lot of money doing corporates, and they're soulless, and you're showing up for these corporate parties, and there's people that don't want to laugh in front of their boss, and then people that are too fucking wasted, and they always say you have to be clean. You can always go a little dirtier than what they say, but like they're hell gigs, and like you're in a car, you're often with like. So we used to work for a comedy club in Canada called Yuck Yucks. It was like a chain, and so they put you on these one-nighters. So you're like in a car with like a comic who's like a dinosaur. He's been doing comedy
Yeah,
before, right?
always.
And you're
Like
in
that-
the fucking
and that's
front
the
seat,
circuit,
and you
though.
You
know
have no idea. This used to be in a strip club. You're like, okay,
and you
I
know
don't care.
it's a snowstorm, and you're on the road. You're like, this can't be how I die.
Yeah,
right? With
that's
this
part of the
person.
hell gig.
That's part
Being
of
linked
it.
with the dinosaur
Yeah,
in the
but
car.
drive
Yeah, when
is
you
awful.
die, the last thing he says is, "I can't wait to get that turkey dinner." And then he
Right.
just
Boom!
Yeah, no, it's
Semi hits
true.
ya.
That's what they are. Yeah.
And the lights are on, and you're in like a conference room, and you can see everybody's face, and the mic is bad. It's always like I always think when I walk in there, I'm like, what part of the mic can't I touch? You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
part of the mic's gonna fuck up the sound?
Or the worst is when you're
you
at
always
the
eat
podium.
shit. I
and
always bomb at
Also, when
corporates.
you-
They give you a podium mic, and then you got to stand there like you're doing a
You're doing a dress.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's so many things. First of all, when you work with a dinosaur, your
Yeah.
whole being is going, is this my future?
Dude,
Is this
but
me?
I always use it
Is
as
this
motivation.
me in 10 years?
Well, that's
and
a-
then the podium. This is the other thing. I've heard so many corporate gigs. It's like, I don't know if I'd be able to survive doing a corporate gig and you say a joke that no one told you was off limits, and then the owner of the company is livid, and the person that booked you is like, I don't know
They're
if I
always-
could
yeah, yeah,
survive
yeah.
that. Get
No,
off stage, and they're like, you really
it's awful.
disappointed the
And then
whole
you
room.
gotta grab the bag of money,
Right.
the envelope of money off them, and then you just feel
I just
like
don't
you
know if I
did-
could survive
And then they're always like,
that.
yeah, they're like, hey, wait, why don't you make fun of the boss? He'll like that. And then you go, hey, what's up, you fucking dork with your fucking, your red whiskey face. And then everybody's like, and they won't laugh. You're like, what the fuck is this? You told me to make fun of this
know.
idiot.
Yeah,
Now
you
he's
didn't make
mad.
fun of him. You
You're
just literally
uncomfortable.
Insulted him, called
Yeah.
him
Right.
a fucking whiskey
And then they
nose
give you,
fuck.
and then they give you their paper plate with the fuck. It's always prime rib.
And
It's
you
always a
eat
prime,
last.
prime rib dinner.
Everybody else
You
true.
eat last, yeah. And then often I'll
It's
just
so
like not hungry.
like you're a peasant.
Yeah.
You 100%.
I'm not strong enough for that shit.
Well, you're gonna have to get
I'd
there.
rather
okay?
sell feet pics than go to a corporate gig.
Have you
You
sold
probably
feet
make
pics?
more money off for
You'll be
feet
fine.
pics.
Yeah, fuck you. Of course you would. Don't. Yeah, if you can do anything but a corporate, do that.
I think, yeah, I just don't think I'm strong enough to handle that.
But you
Because
know what?
I've done it so many times where I make fun of somebody in the audience, and then it's somebody's dad.
Fuck
like
yeah.
that happened to me recently. I was opening for someone, and it was someone's dad, and I'm like, well, first of all, why didn't anyone tell me? Second of all, why's your dad in the front fucking
Or
row?
have you ever done those
What do you
things
mean
like, is that an
somebody's
accent
dad?
or are you retarded? And then
Right.
they
yeah.
are.
Or they were
Like,
from. What happened is they were from Connecticut, and I was like, "Fuck Connecticut," and I went off about Connecticut, and and then it was the guy's dad, and I was like,
that happens. That happened. Actually, I had that at barbershop this week where I was making fun of this dude. It was sitting like the second row in this like pack of girls,
Oh,
and he was like that, buttoned up. Like, he had like the white Lacoste shirt on. Looked like a real piece of shit.
"Yeah."
And so I was railing into him. And then I asked him something, and he goes, I can't, my dad's here. And I go, what? And it's just two old, barbershop. It's all young, right?
you see-
Packed.
yeah.
I go, there's just two old people in the corner. And it's his mom and his dad there. Dad, same shirt as the son. They have the exact same shirt on. I'm
I
like,
think
Oh
I know
my
who
God.
those people were because
I do too. They were waiting outside that.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
saw
the-
them?
The kid, yeah.
Yes,
the kid
'cause I
went
was
and
like-
got like a drink or whatever, and then the mom was like, meow, 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 and then he had to go back to the store.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember I saw them and I was like, why did he bring them
Yeah.
here? I remember thinking that. I was like, why would you bring your parents here?
it's a
like,
weird
Mom,
venue for that.
Come on.
And why would you dress the same as your dad? And the dad goes, Mom dresses us. I'm like, that doesn't make your family seem any less fucking
This
creepy
is
right now.
weird. Yeah.
My son doesn't go anywhere without me.
Father.
Yeah.
Touches the side of his face.
Oh my God.
Delicious treat, aren't you, Malcolm?
But you guys there is a
Hell
weird
gig,
like.
though, I would say being in a car with a comic that, again, an energy vampire. I'll cry when I get home.
It's
Because
bad.
I'm like, you stole my soul.
And then he makes you pay for gas money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
with
yeah.
him.
There's there was an old comic in Canada that used to famously when he had comedians in the car with him, he would play his album, and then
No.
and he would look over at them every time he thought they should be laughing. Like he would laugh at the joke, and he'd look at them, and they'd just be sitting there alone, like.
That's unhinged.
It's truly the most psychotic fucking thing you
No,
could
that's
ever do. I can't
unhinged.
even hear my own self alone.
Right.
I can imagine that.
And then there's another comic like out west where he wouldn't pay gas money and he'd make the opener split with them or whatever, but then he'd give you a shirt, and everybody was telling me that he was gonna give me a shirt and then for like gas money, and I was like, oh yeah, and he's like, yeah, and then so I was like, so like what are we gonna do for your gas money? He goes, oh well, here I got you this shirt and like all this, and then I went,
no.
oh okay, that's great, and then I started stuffing the shirt into my gas tank like this, and he was
That's
looking
really
at
funny.
me, and I go, oh, and he's like, what are you doing? I go, well, do you think this is gonna help my car run?
It's true.
And then he's like, "Oh, okay," and then gave me like money for gas
You
money.
sell
but
the shirt.
yeah,
You
yeah.
flip the shirt.
But it's like
It's
you got to
a-
do these little power moves on these guys, or else they're never gonna like.
It's amazing what comics will do to get out of giving gas money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They
especially
will
for
make
an
up
opener.
like a
Oh, yeah.
story.
Have you
Yeah.
gone
Like-
home to do gigs? Did you say
Long
wait,
Island?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done Governors a few times.
How is it when you go home? Do
The
people come
governor's
out from your
ball.
past?
Oh gosh, I invite no one, and I tell.
I
no
know,
one
but
where
don't
I am.
don't they sneak in though?
No, not because I use at this point. It's not like I'm on a website and someone's coming out. They're looking,
Okay.
It's if I post it. So if I know I'm not posting,
You
then
just
I'm
don't
there.
repost
no,
it.
No,
Private
no,
message. So sorry, dude. I can't promo this. I
think
know it's in my
at this
hometown.
point, if someone wants to come, I would tell them, don't tell me you're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I have people that will come and visit and stuff, I can't have like a certain type of people, I have to have them away from the front row.
Yeah.
Like if my mom wants to come, or like my girlfriend and her friends, I'll be like, just sit at the back.
Yeah,
like, I want strangers at the front.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up here.
Oh,
soon.
no.
You've been very kind with your
Been
time
very kind.
here
Thanks
today.
for coming. We appreciate
But
that.
we set our intentions at the end of our podcast for the week.
Oh my God, you guys go first.
Go ahead, Danny. We'll go down the line again.
Okay, my intentions for this week coming through would probably say I'm going to close this weekend with a nice, just getting out there, doing my stuff, making sure I'm actively trying to stay out of the house, but while I'm out of the house, stay present into the hangs that I'm doing, as well as I'm going to try and snake a couple extra shows, and then my intentions are to do these shows at the stand and make them worthy of them. They're giving me the opportunity to present.
Fucking awesome.
That, and gonna try my hardest not to have a beer on Sunday, but I feel like
Here we
time
go.
might change.
I don't know, buddy. Might be a half moon.
Yeah.
Well, it is a full moon, and you know what happens?
It
A
was a
werewolf
full
comes
moon.
out, and the only way you can kill him is getting a couple silver bullets in
Yeah.
you.
Coors Light.
A couple Coors Lights.
Coors Lights.
There it is.
I haven't had a Coors Light in a while.
Well, I could change that. We'll go down.
Oh, I know. You're
I'm
drinking.
just kidding.
Everyone's
kidding.
drinking.
Yeah, he's not gonna have one.
I
though.
love a
Watch
person
you.
with a rubber arm. I'm not gonna lie.
What's that mean?
Love rubber arm.
You can just twist their arm so
Twist 'em.
quickly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would be like I'll tell him I'm not drinking, and then the moment I hear one, I'm like,
Yeah. It's like
Where
the
is it?
calling. Like
Where is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear my calling.
you hear my pitter patter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a duck on the floor.
Well, actually, while you're saying that, Danny, I intend to keep it up right now with what I've been doing. I want to stay away from
I'm
the
just
booze.
joking.
I'm
We got a full week that
I'm
we
feeling
gotta go.
good
Here we
right
go.
now. I love to drink, but I really love every morning I wake up when I didn't drink. I'm very happy with myself when I didn't drink.
Yep,
Because
I
I,
know
feel
that.
so much better. I'm happier when I'm in the gym. I'm happier when I'm being creative that day. Like everything falls in line. I eat better, everything. So I want to keep that up right now. So my intention is to do that. I got some shows that I got to take care of this week as well, and then I want to I want to focus on writing this week. I want to focus on
Ooh.
sitting down and
Yeah.
really starting to write. Too much showcasing when you first moved to New York. Right, because you're just trying to get into clubs
oh,
and everything
yeah.
like that.
Yep.
So I'm really
Your
like,
A material for
I'm-
like 6 months.
and
yeah.
I'm dying with that.
Right,
It's
I know.
starting like it feels like my soul is
Yeah.
not there. So I'm really trying to. I want to focus on new stuff, get that shit going, and then just fucking. I want to stay fucking. I want to be waking up at like 9 a.m. and not 11 a.m. You know what I mean?
Nice, 9
That's what I
a.m..
want to be doing.
That's big.
It's not, but it is here because now.
9.
Is that like? Are you being facetious?
No, nine's early.
It is early
Yeah.
for here because I'm used to like early
I'm a
for
night
me
owl.
has been
I'm
like.
in bed at like 3 or 4.
But that's what we're usually doing.
Yeah.
So I've been waking up later, but I've enjoyed when I'm not drinking again. I'll do shows, come home, and kind of go right to bed.
Yeah.
And if I exercise properly during the day, I'm actually tired. So
Yep.
kind of works out.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I
And
try
you're
not
not
to
a
wake up
miserable
no matter
prick.
what time I go to bed. Try not to wake up after like 10:30. Or else
Yeah.
my brain is just like society
much day
brain
gone.
being like I lost time. Yeah.
But we'll still do it. Okay,
Nothing like creeping out of the bed at 10:30 though.
Oh my God! What about
Fresh
1? Have you ever
fire.
done
Oh,
like
yeah.
the 1 or 2? You're like, I
Ever
had a
not gotten out
coma.
of bed?
Yeah.
Ever just stayed in there for
Oh.
24 hours?
Love it.
It's like Secret Garden. You're just like, I'm
Just
done.
marathoning true crime.
Yes. My intention. I'd say first of all, try and find the fun on stage. That's been a big one for me that I've been trying to do instead of just being like, I gotta, because I don't know. I want people to laugh, but I also want to have a good time. And that's been kind of missing lately. I don't know why. And to write. Yeah. Keep writing. Cause I'll get into spans and I'm like, I haven't written a goddamn thing.
Yeah. You need it.
Right.
Even if you're just like free writing and just like
Right.
letting it all out on the page.
Although
And then
there
sometimes
is-
you read it back, you're like, I'm not gonna say that.
Right. But then I'll do, I'll keep trying new shit. And then you're like, do I even know how to do comedy?
Yeah,
That's a big one.
Oh,
yeah. You're
man.
just like, do I even know?
You know when you go through like 2 or 3 weeks of like where nothing's working
Oh,
for a while,
yeah.
and you truly are like, what have I done?
Right. You're like, oh, I guess I'll never write anything funny
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I got here.
What's worse, bombing or doing mediocre?
Oh, be mediocre middle, like right in the middle is fucking awful. Where you're getting tepid laughs from everybody in the
Yep.
crowd. I want to
agree.
go down in a ball of fucking
I'd rather
fire,
bomb
or I
than
want to
do
get carried out of
mediocre.
there.
Yep.
You
Depends
know?
on what the bomb is though. Like if you're just doing your material and then like it's like good stuff, and then you're bombing.
Yeah, but if
if you're bombing through growth, then it's like
bombing through growth is fine. But like if
There's
you're
something
bombing,
about doing mediocre. It's almost like when I think of mediocre, I think of pity laughs.
but if you're bombing your A material, it means your heart's not in it. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
selling it. They don't believe you.
You're over it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
Well, listen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming by. That was awesome. Did you
This
have a
was so
good
much
time on the
fun.
Dude
Yeah.
Buddy podcast?
You guys are always a blast to hang out with.
Oh, thanks.
No, you're the
Yeah.
best.
We're gonna show everyone. Does everyone see this? I mean, this
see
is
it.
huge.
Yeah, they see it.
like
It's
it.
there. We got our Dude Buddy set up
me.
here.
Look at that
Jared.
stupid guy on the left.
Where are you going to be in the next bit? Where do people find you for the few people that we have? That
Well, definitely not when she's doing shows in Long Island.
Yeah,
No.
no, don't. Yeah, exactly.
Don't show up.
Don't show up anywhere anytime soon. Follow me on Instagram. That would be or TikTok at Rachel Williams with the R and the W switched.
we'll put it in the thing as well.
So Rachel Williams. Yeah, that's all.
That's great. Thank you so much. God bless you, Rachel Williams.
Yay.
And God bless America. Bye.
You guys are liars. You don't want to God bless America.